This is going to be an alignment video for the XPD 924D STS printer. The tools needed, P2 Phillips, the 2.5 millimeter Allen key, digital microscope, and just a black piece of paper so you can see the white better. Alright, we're going to begin by putting the printer into service mode. You're going to hold the up, down, and right key when you're turning on the machine. Alright, this screen should pop up here. Okay, so now we're going to check the physical alignment of the head.
So we're going to go to adjust.
Alright, so we're going to adjust, check 4, enter. Head slant, adjust 4, enter. And we're going to go to slant 1, enter.
Good.
Alright, we're opening up the front cover here. And this is what we're looking at here.
All right, in this first print, what you're looking at is the slant of the color head. There's a same thing over here, slant for the white head. And in this third little print right here is the front back of the white head.
Okay, so now we're going to place the black piece of paper we talked about underneath here. This is going to allow us to see the white much better, and you're going to need your digital microscope here. And we use this app on our phone to kind of see exactly what's going on. Okay, so as you can see, we put the microscope here on the top blue line to the right. You're going to see that there's these little blue lines right here, and this is what we're seeing. Okay, so the idea here is that the long blue line and the long black line need to be between the shorter blue lines and the shorter black lines. So in this scenario, you could see that the blue line, the long one, it needs to be moved down, and same thing with the black line. Now just note that we messed with the alignment of the head prior to doing this video, just to make sure that we're basically showing you what a bad alignment would look like. So keep in mind that it is a little bit more drastic than you would normally see, but this is for training purposes. So now I'm going to show you basically where the white version is here, and you could see, it's a little bit hard to see, but if you take a look here, you'll see that there's a white line on the bottom, a white line in the middle, and then there's an additional white line that we have under the microscope. And you're going to see the same thing for the white head here. And so the long white line needs to be between the two little white lines, and then it's the same here. You can see it's overlapping on the bottom side, the long white line, and that needs to be, moved down just a smidge.
So in this slant print, we're looking at slant for the color head, slant for the white head, and then front back of the white head. Right now we're placing the microscope on the front back adjustment for the white head.
So in this scenario here, we're worrying about the white lines kind of moving down, and each white line needs to go between the cyan lines. And that's what this is going to match up with.
People can do
Okay, so we took a look at what needs to be changed here. So now we're going to be bringing the head over, and we're going to be taking off the cover. So this is the area behind the head, and you could see a white button back there basically. It's a little bit hard for me to kind of show you, but that's going to be this piece right here. And when I pull on this, the head is going to unlock. So I unlock the head here, and now let me pull it out here. Once the head is unlocked, I'm able to just move it over. Now normally we wouldn't move it over on top of the substrate, but for this showcase, it's fine. Okay, so first we're going to lift this so it doesn't get in the way, and there's going to be 3 screws in this spot over here. So this is screw number 1. Right here is going to be screw number 2. Now we don't have the screw in there, but that's all right. And then on the right hand side over here, that's screw number 3. So you need to remove those 3 screws in order to take off this front cover of the print head. Okay, so after we remove the front cover here, we have the color print head, we have the white print head, and if we take a close look here, you can see an adjuster bar here. There's going to be a certain screw set that we're going to be messing with. We'll talk about it in just a second. You'll see another adjuster here for the white head.
That's for the front.
And the front back lever here. All right. So when adjusting these screws here, the only 3 screws that we're going to be messing with, okay, are going to be this one right here, this one right here, and then there's one on the back here. Let me see if I could get a good angle of it. You could kind of see it. It's going to be right back in that corner here. There's only 1 screw, so you can't really miss it, but that's for both of these. So if you're going to adjust this one as well for the slant, you're going to need to adjust here, here, and then the back right screw, which once again is a little hard to see, but it's right back there. All right, so we're going to begin with the color head, and with this, in this scenario, we're going to loosen those 3 screws on only the color head, okay? And it's only going to be loosening them. You don't need to take them out. You're just, 1 or 2 rotations, kind of trying to get it so that you can adjust the plate, because this is a slider plate.
All right.
So now that we loosened the screws here, we have the ability to adjust this color head, okay? And it's going to be pivoting the head in a certain direction. Now, this bar right here, moving it to the right, pivots it up, and then moving it to the left, pivots it down. So if we look at what we were adjusting for the color head, and you can see that right here, and once again, I'll show you where that location is. All right, so it's the top bar here that we're looking at, and we're looking at this and we're saying, okay, so the blue bar and the black bar need to come down. So that means that to bring it towards us, we need to move that lever to the left. So for instance, we just moved this right here just a quarter of the way back. So it was all the way to the right. And it's more so guesswork, because we don't know how many clicks it would take to move this blue bar down. But essentially, we would correct it here in what we think is the best adjustment, and then we would do a reprint in order to see what was changed and how much more we need to do. So basically, after we adjust that, we're going to tighten it back down, and that's going to be all 3 screws, and this is going to allow us to go back and print. You have to make sure to tighten these down, otherwise when the head's moving, the alignment's not going to be right, or it might change. Now remember, when we lifted the head height bar, it was up, so we need to make sure that when we're going back to do the print, we're moving it back down to its native position so that we're getting everything accurately. We moved the head back to its home position, and note that we did leave the cover off because we're going to be doing more adjustments here. That's fine. And then you can see here we're back at slant 1, and we're hitting the print button. All right, it's going to redo that print, and we're going to take a new look at the adjustments we just made. So once again, we placed the microscope here, and then we're moving back up to the print. You can see that the blue line came down quite a bit. The black line's almost perfect, but we need to just kick it up just a little bit. So maybe this time when we do the adjustment, we're gonna just go to the right 1 or 2 clicks. We're bringing the head back out right now. All right, and with the same speed, we're just gonna, and make sure you take your time with this. There's nothing you need to rush. We're just loosening those 3 screws once more, and then we're able to just kind of adjust that little adjuster bar, however many ticks we need. So we undid that, and now we just want 1 or 2 clicks to the right, and then we're going to retighten it and move it back and repeat that step. So once again, we have the camera back in its location, and you could see here that it's almost perfectly in line. So maybe another like 2-3 clicks to the right, and there's an additional step that I'm going to show you that could change something as well. Okay, so let's say that you could see that we're a lot to the right on this bar. Now, when we kind of messed with the print head, it doesn't necessarily mean that this bar is always going to be here to the right. When you do loosen these 3 screws that we talked about, this is a slider bar. So essentially you could move this front and back, and you can see how there's a little stopping point here to prevent you from pulling it too much. But essentially, if there's no more room to adjust this to get the perfect print, well, it's not on the screen anymore, but we're gonna here do it real quick. So if you're unable to get to this point, or close to it, and it's too strayed from inside, you know, between the lines, sometimes you'll need to actually just pull this bar, and you could kind of like, you know, throw this around to kind of get it to a neutral spot once you adjust the head. But that's something to keep in mind. So just to finish up here on just the color head, we have the placement, and this is what a good alignment would look like. Okay, it's as close as you need it. You know, if you need to do a little micro adjust again, that's fine, but that's a great alignment. So now once again, now we're going to be doing the white head, and you can see here we put the black paper, we have it sitting, you know, on that 3rd line up so we can check the alignment, and here you could see that the lever is going to need to go left to pull it towards us, which is down. Okay, so we move the head to the left once again. We're undoing the screws in the same fashion we did it for the color head. Okay, so as you can see, the same process again. We went a few clicks to the left. I believe it was
4. I went
4 clicks to the left, and you could see a drastic change from what it was. We just need to go a few more, and you'll see that the top one falls into alignment here. So once again, we adjusted it 2 to the left for the white head. You're gonna see the adjustment print now. I don't think I got to show you guys this yet. So there's a little quick print, and then we kind of just slide the paper underneath. We're gonna grab the little microscope once again, put it in the correct position, and then we check. And you can see that the 2 little notches didn't do enough, but it's all right. We're gonna do it one more time, and we should be good on the white head. And then we'll move on to the final adjustment here for the physical alignment. So we made the adjustment, it's all good here, and then basically we're going to move on to the final adjustment.
And let's see what it's looking like this one.
Okay, and let's show what that final adjustment looks like. So just to make sure the placement here, you can see to the left of the box there's 1 blue right here. And then let me show the alignment here. Now you're going to see this one's way off, but that's okay. We kind of just threw the whole bar back, so it's not bound to happen. This will actually showcase what we're trying to fix here really well. So these 3 white lines, they need to go between these blue lines. So we're going to be pulling this lever towards us quite a bit. All right, and we're going to show you what that lever is here in a second. So moving on to this final physical adjustment here, the main bar we're going to be focusing on is this bar right here. You can see it. So it was way down here, and we kind of just kicked it up just to show you what it looks like. But it's still the same thing is going to apply here, where we need to undo the screws first. So we're going to undo the screws. Now we don't know exactly how many clicks we need, because we just kind of like threw it up there to show you, you know, how to change it. But we're gonna pull it down quite a bit. All right, and then once we pull it down quite a bit like that, we tighten it back up, and we do that same test print, and we're gonna look at that same spot, and that's gonna show us how much we adjusted it. Now you don't want to overshoot it. You don't want to, you know, be too fast about it. You know, just we did like, what was that? 7, 8, 10 clicks?
8 maybe.
Okay, like around 8 clicks towards us, and then we're just same thing. We go back there, we send the enter button, it sends the print, and we're on to the next part of the alignment. So you can see that with 8 clicks, it was not nearly enough. It brought it down a bit, but we need to go a lot more.
Yeah, so before it was here.
And before it was like this, and then this is what it's at now. So tighter, but not there yet. Now, this is not something that's, you know, normally done, but we do it here because it works quite well. So we took a little Sharpie mark, and we kind of marked where the head originally was for our proper adjustment. So when we undo these 3 screws, we could kind of like shimmy the head towards this mark to set it correctly. And you can see that we're doing quite a few ticks back, all right? And you can see that it's reaching that spot. So now we're gonna do another test print. We're gonna see where it's landing. And then obviously remember to always tighten down those screws. Okay, so back in the spot, and you can see that we're almost there. So we still gotta adjust it some more and bring it towards us. So once again, we adjusted the bar, we pushed it down, and then we tighten the screws, and then back to that test print. Put the head back. Okay, so basically, you know, we're finishing up here. We put it in the correct position, you know, front and back for the color, for the white and the color head. And you can see here it's almost perfect. We're probably going to do one more click down towards us because the white lines need to come, you know, down just a smidge, and then we're going to move on to the final part of the alignment. Okay, so now that we finished the physical alignment, we made those adjustments, they're all within the parameters. We're going to go back to the screen here. Okay, we're going to exit the slant. We're going to uni by low 1, enter. Thickness, we're going to make sure that this is the correct thickness here on 100, enter.
And then we're doing 460.
Okay.
Only.
So this is going to be the only adjustment we're doing here. L14, unidirectional, 460. Okay. We're going to hit enter.
Head adjust 1.
Head adjust 1. Enter again. All right, and then we're going to go to print, and we're just printing this so we could do the adjustment. Okay, so with this print, there's going to be 3 little marks here. You're going to see 2B over here. You're going to see another 2B in the middle, and you're going to see the last 2B here all the way to the left. Now, what are we trying to do here? We're going to the middle 2B, and the whole idea here is to get this cyan line to be right next to the white line, but we're only adjusting the white head, so it's going to be this white line here. So now you can see that we need to move the white line to the right. Okay, so we're going to go over here, head adjust 1, enter. All right, we're going to go to setup, enter, and now we're going to be adjusting this from this variable here. So you can see that the variable is set to -24, and if you take a look here, you're going to see, you know, minus and positive. So you see the white needs to go positive here. So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to make a minor adjustment to it. Maybe 2, maybe 3 notches here. So up, 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 enter. And that's going to change that variable, and it's going to allow us to redo the print here. So we're going to take this off, remove that paper.
Go back into head adjust 1.
Head adjust 1.
We're
going to make sure we're at the correct one, 460. Enter. It's going to do the print. And we're going to follow that same ordeal till that's completed. Okay, so we made that adjustment. Let's take a look here, and we can see that it's almost perfect. You know, maybe one more notch towards the positive side, and that should complete that part, and then we're going to move on to the next one. So this was just one channel here. Now we're going to adjust all channels. So let's take a look here. We just switched that to head adjust 2. We're going to hit enter. Same thing. We're going to need 460 and then print. It's going to print this one here. Same process. Okay, so now that we did our second, this is adjust 2. Okay, you're going to see that there's every channel now here, as well as the white channels. Here, let me go over the black paper, so you're going to be able to see here. There's all the channels. I'm about to show you the print itself, but once again, we work from the middle here. So if we take a look here, we're looking at the yellow channel, all right, and you can see that it's almost perfect. but we're going to show you how to adjust it. So in this case, we'd go positive, maybe like 1 notch here. And let's take a look here.
Adjust to, enter, and set up.
All right, and then we're going to be able to choose the head that we're looking at. In this case, we're looking at 1A. So we're going to just go +1.
Yep,
and then we're going to...
And then we're going to look at 1C.
Yep, and we're going to go through each one of these before we enter and complete it to see exactly what's going on. So for instance, we went to the next one here. And you can see this one is maybe a little bit too much to the right. So we're going to go, -1.
Yep.
So we're going to go here, and you're just going to go down 1. All right, and then we're going to move on to the next. So you hit the right, and you're going to apply this to all the different channels as you go through it.
That one's like perfect.
And so you can see here, this is what a perfect channel looks like. And then we move on to the next one. And you can see that this one's off a little bit, and that's the whole process here. And you're going to go through all these different channels.
F.
Yep, that's 1F.
And you said what, -1?
Yes, -1.
All right, and then G.
And then we're moving it again. You kind of see the whole process here. As we go through the channels, we're just making sure they're all correct and then adjusting for them.
And then same thing for the white head.
And then we're going to go down to the white. And the same process will apply through, all the white, all the color. You're just making sure that the lines are matching up, whether they need to go negative or need to go positive. Once all this is complete, you'll be able to hit enter and apply the settings to it.
That one's off.
So once you're on your last channel here, you're finishing up the whites, you just, come over here, you've made your adjustments, hitting the right arrow, going through the channels, and then you're hitting enter to confirm the settings that you're adjusting to. And then you're complete with this step, and we're going to move over to the next step here. And this is going to be number 9. This is going to be under the 460, and this is bidirectional. So keep that in mind that this will be the final step here. Okay, so we're going to start with print 1 here. We're going to hit enter. Okay, so we did the print here, and you could see that there's the reference channel, which is 1B right here, okay? And then you could see the channels that it's kind of offering you to change it to. So let's go ahead and put it on the reference channel so you can see here. Here, Kyle, take that for me while I hold it. Yeah. So you could see, once again, the top line needs to meet the bottom line, and you just need to make sure that they're, as proper as possible. So for instance, we're going to move to -2, and you can see that it's a better orientation. So if you look through the different individual channels here that it's kind of offering you, you could see what a bad and what a good channel looks like. So for instance, you could see this is not matching up. And then, you don't change it to a channel that's not matching up. You make sure to change it to a channel that is. So in this case, we want to do -2. We're going to go back to the screen here. Setup.
Head 1.
And this is going to be head 1.
2.
We're minusing 2 here.
And then we're going to go to head 2 and see what it looks like.
And then we're going to go to head 2 here, which is for the white. And you'll see that right below it. It's a little bit hard to see that, but it's the same thing here. So yeah, I can't really show you that, but it's in the same orientation as the colors, but just for the whites. And once again, you're kind of looking for the proper white, setup. So while he's looking through that to see a proper one, he's adjusting it. So he went to, what was that?
-3.
-3.
Yeah.
He moves on to the next channel.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're doing print 2 here under the bidirectional. Okay, we're going to remove this stuff here. And this is going to be the final step, and then your alignment is done. So with the print 2, you're going to go through each individual channel. Now just keep in mind that for this final one, when you adjust this one, it adjusts all the different channels here. So they all get adjusted together. So for instance, we're making sure that the white line is, touching the white line, and then we'll move on here. Let's show them a color. And then, if there's one off, it adjusts it all. So, take a look there, take a look here, and make sure everything's kind of cohesive. And then if you see that there's one off to the left or off to the right, it shows the minus or plus, and you just kind of adjust that as well. And that's going to be the final change here. You would just,
Hit 1, if plus up, if minus down, hit 2, and then enter.
Yep, and then bidirectional end, and that would be the conclusion to this alignment.